Hello, ladies, and welcome to Wake Up Wednesday. This week we're doing live coaching Q&A where I have a woman in my tribe bring a question that she has about her coaching business, and we jam on it live. And I choose questions that I know will bring value to you and that you probably have too. So today, I would love to introduce you to Ashleigh. Hi, Ashleigh.
Hi.
So ladies, let me tell you a little bit about Ashleigh. Ashleigh, I know because she was a client and graduate of my life coach training program, Mentor Masterclass. She's also currently working with me in the Sisterhood Mastermind, and she is a brilliant and very needed coach. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She is the founder and creator of Turquoise Heals. Isn't that fun? Life Beyond Addiction. Located in the Turks and Caicos Islands, she is a recovery and lifestyle transformation coach and healer. And Ashleigh's personal path in sobriety led her to love living a clean and healthy life with clarity, authenticity, and truth. And her passion is to work with others in recovery to help them recognize and maintain the true light that shines in them. And as you know, coming from a family steeped in addiction, this is a really personal topic, and I think a place where coaching is really valued. So, Ashleigh, I'm so happy to have you here, and I'm so curious to see what question you'd like to bring today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Okay, so my question for you today, Jay, is how do I get over the fear and guilt of setting firm boundaries with family and friends in order to focus on building my life, coaching business, and creating a better life? So it's quite a long question, but yeah.
I was just on Skype with our guest today, Ashleigh, who has a really incredible question about boundaries, but she's in Turks and Caicos and her internet couldn't work, and I'm so excited to get this out to you that I'm going to get right into the heart of her question today. And I love this question because I see it all the time. Women really struggle with the idea and the balance and communication around boundaries. And boundaries are important in our life coaching business because they teach us self-respect. It's a way to practice being seen and heard. It's a way to take radical self-care of ourselves so we have the energy to do what it takes to launch a business and serve others in a profound way. It is really essential to wholeness, and when you are launching a holistic brand, you need to be walking your talk and working your inner edges and your habitat hacking with family and friends around your own sense of wholeness so that you can bring that devotion, that energy to building your clients, to being seen and heard in the world through your brand. And then also, it's kind of separate. Boundaries in our life to have a better life experience when it's around family and friends is actually learning how to deepen our relationships, have more meaningful conversations, and truly surround ourselves with people that treat us the way that we desire to be treated, that allow us to feel love and give the most love. And in order to have a better life, we have to take self-responsibility, get to a place of loving open-heartedness in our communication, and really be able to smile and mean what we say when we ask for someone to support us in the way that we desire to be supported. Now, I think the thing that most of us fear around boundaries is that we are going to become those jerks who are annoying and have a list of ways that they like to be treated, much like a diva, and then we aren't actually able to be open-hearted and connected, and people feel uncomfortable or like there's a long list of requirements in order to maintain relationship with us or fit themselves into our lives. So I want to talk about how to and why that happens, and how to actually approach boundaries from a place that others receive as empowering for them as well, because I believe that that is the true gift and feminine power behind supporting and asking and claiming for boundaries in your life, that it becomes a gift to those who you ask to participate in this practice and ritual with you. Now, the first part of the question is very important. If you too, outside of just Ashleigh, feel that fear and guilt are the specific words that come up when you think about enlisting boundaries, I think these are big indicators for us of where to begin in self-discovery. So the first thing I want to put in your lap is the invitation to think of fear as a teacher. Whatever you fear will happen to you, which is probably true. You really fear that something will happen to you that will be painful if you inflict boundaries to support the growth of your life coaching business. So I want you to pause the video and write out, what are you afraid will happen to you if you enlist boundaries around you, yourself, and your time to give more space to the growth of your life coaching business or to support the growth of your business. And then when you're done with that, I want you to take a look at those fears and see, what is this trying to teach me? How is this guiding me to be more clear about who I am as a business owner and what I need to do in my business to build an authentic business that's supported by a strong foundation, protected by boundaries? That is your answer. That is how I would coach you in a one-on-one conversation or in my program to really start to do the work there. So let's begin there. On the flip side, if guilt is coming up for you, when I hear guilt or shame, I immediately think of the work that we do in Mentor Masterclass, learning about relationships. Relationships are so important in our lives. It is a huge part of what makes us have a beautiful and powerful life experience. And when we are feeling guilt, it's usually because the work of, this comes from the work of Bert Hellinger, Family Constellation Therapy, and he believes that guilt and shame are a response to our suffering obligations of love to friends and family. It's the feeling that if we make a decision when we're using guilt and shame as our moral compass, and guilt or shame comes up, that will separate us from that person, that we are not doing things the way that they do things or the way that they know us to do things. And so we feel guilt or shame because we think they will separate from us. There will no longer be a loving connection between us. And so in order to show our love, we suffer by not doing the things that would enlist self-responsibility, a loving, open heart, and meaning what we say. Instead, we cover that all up to try to maintain what we think will be a more loving relationship. So my offering to you, if that's what's coming up, is to instead shift into a new moral compass of self-responsibility. Ask yourself, what would it mean for me to take 100% responsibility for this thing in my life? And how could I show up if I was doing that, asking for what I want and taking responsibility for my own response and my own needs, not placing judgment on how the other person will react or how it will make them feel? So if you can do those two things, follow what the fear is teaching you in your life coaching business and be willing to assert the boundaries anyways, and take and come from a place of radical self-responsibility, I think you'll find the right balance in between swinging too far to the left where you have no boundaries at all and you really have a fear of setting boundaries and guilt about it, from swinging too far to the right where you're that annoying, unbearable person with too many boundaries, and land right in the middle. Sometimes you have to over practice it for it to swing kind of back and balance in. So in the beginning, especially if you're really struggling, be bold, set a lot of boundaries and be really firm about them. And in the process of your pendulum swing, you'll find the right balance and see when is the time to kind of smile and nod and not say something out loud and just process the trigger for yourself, versus when you need to communicate out loud to that person or that thing and say, this is what I need from you. This is my firm boundary. I'll give you an example. For my life coaching business, a firm boundary that had to come up for me, I feared that if I stopped coaching my friends, they wouldn't love me anymore. This is also kind of the guilt side, but more fear that I would also get burnt out, because a lot of the friends I had before I became a coach, I was coaching them because it was just, I love to do it. But when coaching became my business, I got tired of also coaching my friends during our happy hour dates or Sunday brunch. And I enlisted a firm boundary around myself that I would ask my girlfriends if they would ask me more questions and enlist me talking more than me giving them advice or support. And I also would tell them, I'm not wearing my coaching hat today, so I just don't desire to get into any real big topics or pain points. I just want to have fun and be together and talk about more of the light things. And you can do that. You can say those specific things. And it was very challenging at first, but ultimately now my relationships have balanced out. And I even had to let go of some friends who couldn't make that shift and who always wanted me to be their coach, and really enlist a boundary of, maybe we're not meant to be friends at this point because this is so draining for me and I need to receive as much from my friendships as I give, or maybe you need to hire me as your coach. So hard, solid boundaries, but life-changing, which gave me the energy to really support my clients and bring on more clients and abundance in my life because my friends were refueling me rather than pulling from me. And on the flip side, creating a better life, I really had to apply this in family, recognizing when am I taking this coaching and spirituality thing too far and asking for too much from my family versus letting them be them and just taking self-responsibility for my triggers and sorting them out rather than needing to process every given situation with my family. So I share those stories with you so you can find the balance between when is a boundary meant to be spoken and enlisted, and if that person cannot follow through on that boundary, how can you lovingly disconnect versus with family who you don't desire to disconnect with and you want to maintain a lifetime relationship with? What can you do to enlist self-responsibility to work through the triggers, protect your own energy, and have the boundary be a spoken self-discovery one versus having to over-articulate and enlist boundaries with family that's uncomfortable to them? Now, there's a fine balance of that. So if you have some questions, we can sort it out together in the comments. I would love to see where you're thriving and failing with boundaries. And Ashleigh also would love to hear from you in the comments as we're exploring the answer to your question. I hope that this is valuable. Ladies, I will see you all next week in another episode or blog and newsletter around for Wake Up Wednesday, supporting the growth of your coaching business and your self-discovery. Thank you, ladies. I will talk to you next week.
Do you want to become a confident and masterful life coach? Imagine feeling completely supported by a brilliant sisterhood while you launch your dream business and attain financial freedom. Mentor Masterclass is an all-in life coach training program for 40 women who are on a mission to learn from the best. You can join Mentor Masterclass at the beginning of any new month while spaces are available. Head on over to mentormasterclass.com to learn more about the training and apply now.